Okay, so hello everyone. This is part 15 of our Django playlist. Okay, so in this video, we are going to learn about working with database. Okay, in previous videos, we have learned how to work with templates like Django support what? MVT. MVT. Here M means model. Okay, and model or you can say database, right? V means view. Okay, view is nothing but related to Python code, right? We already have written views, okay, and we already work with template. Okay, templates are nothing but HTML file, right? So in this video, we are going to learn with in this video we are going to learn how we can work with models. Okay, means how we can store our Django application data permanently into database, right? So this thing we are going to learn in today's lecture. Okay, so working with models and database, right? Okay, so let's understand. As part of web application, as a part of web application, okay, web application development, right? So what is a compulsory thing? So the compulsory thing is compulsory we required to interact with database. Okay, why we interact with the database? So that we can store our data permanently. To store our data and to retrieve. Okay, to retrieve. Okay, we can store and we can retrieve whenever we required. We can get the data to retrieve our stored data. So that's the reason we need database in order to store the data for permanently, and we can retrieve the data whenever it is needed, right? Next, now, so Django provides a inbuilt support. What Django provide? Django provide inbuilt support, or we can say database, okay, for storing data permanently. So Django provides inbuilt support for database operations. Okay, so Django provide what? Inbuilt support for database operation means it can convert our class into what query language. Okay, I will tell you in detail. Don't worry about this. Just try to understand whatever I'm typing here. Once you got the concept, I will tell you with practical example as well. Right? So just try to understand operations. Okay, database provide on inbuilt database. Okay, it also provide inbuilt database. Okay, Django provide, this is what provide an inbuilt database, right? What is the name of that inbuilt database? The name of that inbuilt database is SQLite 3. So what we call that database? SQLite 3, right? So this database provided by the Django, right? Okay, so for a small to medium application, this database is enough. Like if you want to if you're creating a small application or like medium size application, then this database can handle data. Okay, this database also can handle your data. Otherwise, you can connect your Django application with MySQL database, MongoDB database, or PostgreSQL database. It's up to you. Otherwise, if you don't want to use external databases, then you can use this. Okay, if you want external databases, means you need to configure the database. I will tell you how we can use that also. Okay, so for a small to medium applications, this database is more than enough. Right? Django can provide support for other database. Means it provides support to other database. Means you can connect your application with other database. Okay, like you can connect with Oracle. Okay, and you can connect your application with MySQL. You can connect your application with MongoDB as well, like that. So like from others database, external database also you can connect, and internal database which is provided by Django, which is SQLite 3. So when you use this SQLite 3, you don't need to configure. If you will use any of these, means you need to configures the settings. Okay, so like where is the settings? Let me show you. Okay, so what I will do, I will just create one application. I will create one application. Okay, I will create one Django application. I will tell you how we can connect it with database. Create a Django application. Okay, so what is the step? What are the steps we need to follow in order to create Django application? First of all, I'll go to my drive. Okay, I'll go my D drive where I have Django temp folder inside the projects. Okay, so writing here P4, P5 folder I'm creating, and inside the P5 folder, I will create my Django project. So I will type here CMD, right? So this location has been opened in command prompt. Let me clear it, CLS. Now, which command we will write in order to create Django application? We will write command Django admin start a start project. What is the project name? We can say model project. Model means we will store data into database permanently. That's why I'm giving project name is model project. Otherwise, you can give any name. It is not mandatory. Okay, so it has created one project. As you can see here, model project folder is created. Now, what I will do, I'll go inside the model project folder. So how can I go? CD model project. Okay, and inside this project, what I will do inside this project folder, I will create one application. Okay, so how can I create an application? Py manage.py start app. What's the application name? I'm just giving app name as test app. Okay, so it will create my test app also. Okay, now, so these are what? These are the steps to create a project, right? These are the commands you have to write in order to create the project. Okay, after that, what we have to do? Let me open this location in VS Code. So I will write here code dot. So when I type here code dot, it will open automatically in VS Code. Okay. So when you go to the settings, okay, when you go to the project setting, okay, when you go to the project setting, so here you have to mention your application name. What is your application name? Test app. What's your application name? Test app, right? So you have to register your application into settings.py, right? So add application in settings.py, right? Let me remove this. So this is how we will add our application into what settings.py. Inside the install app, you will register your application. Now, so if you want to configure your database, so you will go into the settings.py. Inside the settings.py, you will see database configuration. Okay, so this is the default database. This is the default database configuration. Okay, engine is what? Django. Django is what? Library. DB backend, and SQLite 3 is what? Default database. Okay, and name is this, right? So we can say here, if you are using SQLite 3 database, which is already given by the Django, so you don't need to change any database setting. Means you don't need to change any database setting if you are using this. We can say, okay, so what we have to do? Database configurations. Okay, database configuration. So note here, one note is what? If you are using SQLite 3, which is given by the Django. SQLite 3 is given by Django itself. Okay. So do we need configure or not? No need to change. Okay. No, we don't need to change our database settings. Okay. So you can see here, as it is, you can use the whatever setting is, it will be remain same. These settings will be remain same. Okay, no need to change, right? Okay, one another note is also there. Okay, note. Okay, if suppose if you want to use external database, means other than SQLite 3, then what you need to do? See, if we don't want to use SQLite 3, if we don't want to use SQLite 3 database, then we have to configure. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to configure our own database. Why? Because our own database, Django don't know about our database. Django only know about the SQLite 3. So that's why we need to configure our own database when we are connecting our Django application with another database, right? With okay, configure on database with parameters, with the parameters. Okay, so what are the parameters we have to change? Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So first one is engine. Okay, so as you can see here, engine name you have to change. You need to change the engine name. Okay, so what you will do here, so in name of the database engine, here we will write name of the database engine, right? I will tell you in detail, don't worry, how we will write engine name. So I will tell you how we will connect our application with another database, external database. Okay, then name. Okay, we need to change name of the. Okay, so as you can see here, name is also there. Name is also there. Okay, so we will change name also. Name means we will write database. What we will do? We will write database name, right? And the third thing is we will give user. Okay, we will give user. If you are using default one, so you don't need to write user. But if you are using external database, means you will give user also. So what will be the user? User means database login username. What you will give? You will give database login username, right? And next, what is next? You need to give password as well. Password. Okay, if you are using external database, you need to write password also. So database login password, right? And after that, the fifth parameter you will give, which is host, right? Host also you will give. So what is host? The machine on which database server is running. Okay, if you are running your application in your computer, in your laptop, means in your machine, so the server, the host will be local host. Most of the time host is what? Local host, because you are using the Django application on the local server. Okay, next, now you will get port. So the port of which database server is running. Okay, so on which port database server is running, we have to mention the port name. Okay, so the default port number of Django application is what? 8000, right? And one more thing, this host and port, these two are optional. You can give or you can skip that. Okay, so most of the times host and port are optional. Okay, most of the time host and port are what? Optional, right? Right. So, okay. So what I will do, I will tell you how we can use external database. How we can use external database means we need to have one database. Okay. So here I will use MySQL command line. Okay. So I'm using what? MySQL command line. You should make sure like this command line, MySQL command line is stored in your computer or not. It should have in your computer, right? So I will open this, and the default password, I guess, root. Okay, if you have created another password, you can give another password. So my password is 123 only, so I'm giving 123 here, right? And here what I will do, I will check my databases. Show database. show database. So it is showing all the databases here. Okay. So if you want to create your own database, so you will write create database, create database, and demo DB. I'm writing database name is demo DB. So our database is created. Now if you will type the command show databases, right? So it will show us one more database which is demo DB, right? So I will connect with this database. So how can I connect? How can I connect my application with this database? Okay. So what I will do, I'll go here and instead of writing this engine, so what I will give my SQL. Okay, so I will delete this SQLite. Instead of SQLite, I will write my SQL, right? Because I'm using MySQL command line. That's why I will write here MySQL. Okay, so what's the name of the database? What's the name of the database? So my database name is what database I have created. Okay, so what database I have created? I have created here demo DB. So I will connect with this database means I will give the name demo DB. Okay, so demo DB is created. And after that, what we have to give? After that, we have to give user. Okay, so we will write user as well. So user. So what is the user? User, if you're using MySQL, so default user is what? Default user is what? Okay, default user is what? True. After that, next what I will give? Password. Okay, password. Okay, what password I will give? Whatever password you have given at the time of login. At the time of login. So here, what password you will give? 123 I'm giving. So I'm able to log in here. Okay, so then only I can see my databases here. If I write here show databases, so it will show my all databases from which I'm using demo DB. So I will give password. So password, let's create password parameter password. Okay. So password, in password what I will type? In password I will type 123. So this is my password which is 123. Now what I will do? I will write host. So next is what? Next is host. So which host? I'm working on local host. Host. So host means local host, right? Next, what is the last parameter is port. Okay. So last parameter is what? Port. I'll create first port parameter and now what I will write port number. So MySQL port number is what? Default port number is 3306. Okay. So here on this port MySQL application communicate. Okay, so most of the time default port is 3306. Now how we will check whether this is connected, this MySQL is connected with our database or not? So what we will do, we will create one connection object. How we will create the connection object, just see. So here what I will do, I will open my Python shell. How can I open my Python shell? I will write here py manage.py run, not run server, share. Okay, I will write here share. Make sure you are in project folder. You are in project folder, right? Then only it will work. So as you can see here, chevron prompt is coming, means our Python shell has opened. Okay, so now I will create one connection object. So how can we create a connection object? I will write here from Django db import connection. After that, in order to check the connection, you have to create the connection object. So C equals to, I'm writing here connection. I'm using what? Connection. Okay, connection dot cursor. Okay, if I press enter, if there is no error, means our connection established successfully with MySQL. MySQL is what? External database we are using. The default one is SQLite. SQLite 3 is the default one, but we are using MySQL and we are giving this configuration. If there is no error by the pressing enter, at the time of pressing enter means our connection established successfully. Okay, so what error it is showing? It is saying argument 3 must be string not int. Okay, so see here what we are doing. We are writing here what? Password in integer. So let's write this password in string. Okay, let me write the MySQL code also in string. Right. Now let me execute it again. Let me exit from the shell. Okay, clear the screen. Now I will open shell once again. Py manage.py shell. Okay. Now I will again import from Django.db import connection. Why? Because we have to create connection object. C equals to connection dot cursor. Okay, now let's say, so there is no error. No error means our connection established successfully, means our MySQL connection established successfully, right? Okay, I hope you're understanding. Suppose if you are using, if you want to use the SQLite means, let me go back. Okay, so this was the default configuration. So see, this was the default configuration of our SQLite. Okay, default configuration of SQLite. So at that time, you don't need to write any further line. You don't need to write any further line because we are using default database which is given by Django itself. So we don't need to do any configuration. These lines will be same. Okay, how you will check, how you will prove? Let's go here and let me exit. Okay, so if I will import, first I need to open the shell. Okay, let me clear the screen first. Okay, now I will open the shell py manage.py shell. Now what I will do, I'll import the connection, and after that I will create connection object. Right, so there is no error means this is also fine, this is also fine. But when you connect it with MySQL, when you connect it with MySQL database, which is external, not given by the Django. So what will happen? It will throw an error. So let me exit first, clear the screen. Now what I will do, open the shell, and after that import the connection, and after that create connection object. So it is showing error. It is showing error. Why? Because we are using external. So whenever you are using external database, so what you need, you have to give the name. Okay, you have to give the correct name. Let me undo the steps. Okay, so it is not going to be undo. Okay, so let me give it manually. Okay, so name is what? What is the name of our database? Our database name is DemoDB. We have created DemoDB, right? And after that, what do we write? We write password. What is the password? Password should be in a string. My password is, okay, password is 123. Right? What is my password? 123. Okay, before password, we need to give user also. We have to give user. So what is the user? User. So what is user? User is default user is root. MySQL default user is root. After that, what we will give? We will give host. So MySQL host, generally we are running this on local host. So that's why I'm writing local host. And what's the port? So MySQL default port is 3306. This is the default port of MySQL, right? Okay, so if you are connecting with MySQL, so this much configuration you need to give. Okay, let me just exit from this. Okay, exit, clear. Okay, now let's open the shell, import the connection, create the connection object. Okay, so there is no error. So means when you are using external MySQL, so this much configuration is required. I hope you are understanding what I am trying to say. Okay, establish the connection in settings.py. So with MySQL, right? So this is we have done. Okay, so this much you have to do at least. Okay, after that, okay, note one thing, everyone. So, what language database understand? What is the language understand by the database? So, note one thing. Every database understand only one language. What is the name of the language? Only one language, which is MySQL, which is SQL, structure query language. So every database understand one language. The name of that language is SQL. Okay. Okay. So every database understand SQL. Okay. So now what we will do, we will create model. Model is nothing but we will create table. Inside the model, we will create one table inside the data for the database. Right. So create model class which is same as create table in database. Okay, so we have created database already, but there is no table inside the database. See, we have created which database? We have created demo db database. So if I write here use demo db, okay, so it will use demo db. Now I will write here show tables. So empty, there is no table inside this database. So what I will do, I'll create table. So how we will create the table? So in order to create the table, you need to use model class, right? So see, okay. So first question is what is model? What is model class? So we can say a model, a model is a Python class. A model is what? A Python class which contains database information. So who contain database information? Model class. Okay. Okay. Model class is nothing but Python code. We write what Python class inside the model, right? And it contains field and behavior of data which we are storing. So whatever data we will store, it will contain that data. So we can say it contains fields. Fields are nothing but columns of the table. Okay, columns of the table is known as field and behavior of data which we are storing. So whatever data we are storing, it will store the fields and behavior of the data, right? Each model maps one, okay, each model maps to one database table. So whatever model we will create, each model will connect with database table, or we can say map it with database table. So so don't worry, I will tell you practically also with code. So just understand this concept, database table, right? Okay, next, every model. Okay, every model is a Python class which is the child class of, okay, so every model is for Python class. Please try to remember everyone. This could be an interview question as well. Every model is a Python class which is a child class of, model class is a child class of Django db dot models dot model. Okay, so it is a child class of Django db models dot model. Okay, model is what? Class, right? So this is the child class. Okay, now each attribute of the model represent database field. Okay, so each attribute of the model represent database field. Okay, so what are the database field? Like column, name, in table. So that is what database field. Each attribute of model represent what? Column. Okay, now let's understand. Okay, so where we will write this model class, we are discussing on model, but where exactly we are going to write this model class? We have to write all model classes inside models.py file, right? So here actually we have to write our model class. So as you can see here, when you go here, when you go to the test, you will see one models.py. Go to the models.py and here you will write here model class. Okay, why we are writing model class? So that we can create our table. Okay, because your model class will convert it into table, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to create one employee table. Okay, we are creating employee table is nothing but creating the model. We will create the model and Django will convert our model into SQL. Okay, so employee, okay, and what we will write there? Models dot model. Okay, because every model class is a child class of model class, right? Now in this we are creating column. Column is nothing but we are creating attribute. So first one is employee number. I will write here models dot integer field. Okay, we will mention this is e number is what? Integer type, means inside the table this is what it will contain, integer values, right? Next, e name, employee name. We will write here models dot employee name is what? Character field. And what's the maximum length? Maximum length will be 30, right? After that, e cell. Okay, models dot models dot float field. Okay, salary can be float, so that's why. And e address, employee address. So what is the address? Address can be character on character field with max length Okay, what should be the max length? I'm giving max length is 30 or 40, we can give. Right. So this is how we have created our model class. So what will happen actually? Okay, try to understand this model class. Okay, this model class will convert into what? Okay, for example, try to understand here. I've created model. Okay, I have created what? Model class. Let me write name also. This one is what? Model class. Right. So this model class will convert it into SQL query. Okay, because this model we have to store inside what database. This employee information we have to store inside what database. Where we have to store? We have to store it inside the database. So for example, let me create database. Okay, so we can say this is what our database. This is our database. And we have to store this model class. Which model class? This model class. We have to store this model class into what? Into database. But database understand only one thing. This model class is nothing but we are writing what? Here what we are writing? We are writing Python code. We are creating Python class. So it does not understand Python class. Okay, so it understand only one language, which is MySQL. It understand this database understand. Every database understand one language, which is SQL language. Right? So what will happen? We will convert our model class. We will convert our model class into what? Into SQL query. Okay, we will convert our model class into what? SQL query. So this model class will be converted into SQL query. Okay, it will be converted into SQL structure query language. All right. Okay. So after that, we will give this structure query language to database because database understand only one language, which is SQL. So this is the process. So how we will convert how we will convert our model class into SQL. So what is the command we need to write? So command in order to convert the command to convert our model class into SQL query is okay, make migration. Okay, so this is the command you have to write. Okay, make migration will convert our model class into what? SQL query. Okay, right? And migrate. And there is one more command which is known as migrate. And this migrate command will store our SQL data, structure query data into what? Database. So we have another command which is migrate. Okay, okay, so these are the two commands. So our model class will convert it into SQL with the help of migration command, and our SQL query will store inside the database with the help of migrate. So migration and migrate, these are the two things. So whatever code I am writing here, it will be converted into what? SQL. It will be converted into what? SQL when I write migrate. So let's see what happen, how we can do this. Okay. So there is one point. Let me tell you one more point. Note. What is the note? Model class will be converted into database table. Okay. And Django is to responsible for this conversion. Okay, so who will do this conversion? Who will do this conversion? Model class to SQL query and SQL queries to database. Who is responsible? So Django. Django is responsible for this conversion. Okay, so how we can do this conversion? Let's see. So what we will do here, what we will do, let me just, okay, delete this. Let me reopen it. Okay, so you open my terminal. I open my terminal and here I will write the command. Which command I will write? Migration command I will write. Why I will write migration command? So that my model class should convert into what? MySQL. So what I will do? I will write here py manage.py make migration. Make migrations. So if there is no error, means our this code will convert it into what? SQL code, respective SQL code. Okay, so there is no error. So you can see migration for test tab. So migration of test tab has done. Okay, migration and created one employee model. So as you can see here, migration folder is there, and inside the migration folder, so this is some command is written. Okay, so what we are doing, we are converting our model class into SQL code. So we have written this command, make migration. But if you really want to show, if you really want to see this SQL query code, which is which is respective to this model class, so how you can check? So in order to check that code, we have one command. You have to fire one command, which is py manage.py sql migrate. Okay, SQL migrate and test them. After that, what you will write? What is the application name? 0001. 0001. You will write here 0001. Okay, and see it is showing code. Create table. Okay, what is the table name? Table name is test employee. But you will ask, you can say our table name is employee, but why it is showing test underscore table? So whenever it will create any table, so first name will be the application name. First name will be same as the application name. What is our application name? Test tag. After that, it will write the table name. Table name is what? Employee, and these are the respective field, and it will add one extra field which is id. See, we didn't create any id field. We did not create any id field in this table, but this id is given by the Django. This id is given by the Django, and remaining fields we have attached, like name we have attached to it. Okay, name, we have given name, and we have given, okay, it is not properly visible. E name we have, salary we have, address we have. Okay, e number also we have, right? So okay, note one thing here. Note one more thing. Okay, so when we are converting model class, okay, when we are converting model class to SQL query, okay, so what will happen? What will happen? So which command you need to write? You need to write py manage, okay, py manage dot py make migration. Okay, make migration. Now you have to note one more thing. Note. So table name. What will be the table name after converting into MySQL? The table name will be app name. Okay, what is your app name? Test app. After that, followed by class name. It will give class name. Class name is what? Employee. So let me show you what is the app name? Test app. It will show you test underscore. What is the class name? Employee. So like that, it will display. Okay. One more thing is extra field. It will add one extra field. Okay. So our fields are what? Our fields are e number, right? E name and e salary, right? And address, e address. These are the fields given by us. But Django will add one extra field added by Django. So what is the extra field? Extra field is ID. It will add ID. Okay, so as you can see here, when I am executing the command, which command? When I am executing this command, py manage.py SQL migrate test app 001. Okay, so what it is showing? It is showing one extra field which is ID. Okay, ID is my extra field. And what is my table name? Table name is test underscore employee, right? So this is what my table name, right? Now what we have to do now, see, if I will go here and I will again write one command which is show tables. Show tables. So what will happen? It is not showing anything. So what happened? This model class converted into what? SQL query, but it is not stored in database. Means this command is not executed in database. So what we will do in order to execute? In order to execute this, what we have to do? We have to write migrate. Which command is responsible to convert to store in database? Which is migrate. So we will write migrate. So py manage.py, and we will write here what? Let me first clear, otherwise you will be confused. The py manage.py, and I will type here migrate. Okay, press enter now. So it is migrating. Okay, so it is migrating, right? It is migrating. So as you can see here, you can see table. You can see table. So which table we have? So it has created many tables. Other supported table also created, but one table we have created which is employee table. So it will create our table as well as other supporting table also created by the Django, right? So when you type here, when you will type here, okay, select, okay, describe, okay, describe which table? Test app underscore employee. Okay, so what will happen? It is showing all the field ID which is given by Django. Okay, e number, e name, e salary, address, and these are the things it is showing. But if I check the data inside the table, so how can I check the data? Select star from what's the table name? Test app, test app underscore employee. Okay, so my table name is test app underscore employee. So it is saying empty. Table is what? Empty. There is no data. So what we will do now? What we will do now? Once we have created this, we will create super user. Okay, we will create super user. Okay, so before creating the super user, first we have to register our. So first we have to register our model into what? Admin.py. You can see one admin.py. So here we have to register our model. So how we will register our model? We will write here. We will write here from test app. From test app, we have models. Okay. So inside model, we have created one model The name of the model is employee. Okay, our model name is employee at C. What we will write here? Here we will write admin dot, okay, what we will write? Admin dot site dot register. Okay, so this is the code in order to register our application. Okay, so after that, what we can do, we can create super user. Once you register your model into admin, means you are ready to create super user. Why we are creating super user? So that we can access our Django application from web. Okay, so let's create super user. So what we will do, we will write here py. Okay, let me clear this first. Py manage.py create super user. There should not be any space, and make sure you are writing correct spelling. Okay, now press enter. So you can give any username, otherwise it will take default. Okay, so I'm writing. Okay, so username is MOHD Muhammad. Okay, next, what is the email? So I'm writing address is for mohd@gmail.com. Right, password, I'm giving password is what 123. Again 123. Okay, so it is showing it is weak password, it is showing, but let it go. Okay, bypass password, yes. Okay, so I will press yes. Okay, so it has created my super user. Now what I will do, how I will check my super user, okay, and how I will insert data into the table. So what I will do, I will run my application py manage.py run server. So I will executing server. Okay, so on this, just I will copy this IP address and go to the browser, Chrome browser. Okay, and I will paste it here. I will paste it here, right? Okay, so this application is executing. So I have created super user, means I can go into the admin panel. You can go into the admin panel if you have created super user. Okay, so what is the name of the user? I have created name MOHD, and what is the password? 123. Okay, login. So as you can see here, our model is there, our table is there. What is the table name? Employee table. Okay, so from here, when I click here, I can add the detail. I can add the detail. Employee number is what? 101. Employee name is, I'm writing my name. Okay, employee salary is what? Let's say 1,20,000. Okay, address is what? So nk@gmail dot. Okay, so save it. Okay, so data is created, one object is created. See, one object is created, and this is the data. Okay, so if you will access it, through this MySQL command line. So previously what it was showing, when I was selecting select star from test app employee, so it is showing empty. So now let's select again, select star from test app underscore employee. So it is showing data or not? It is showing our data. Okay, so let me create one more object, add employee. Okay, 102. Okay, and I'm writing here what? For example, I'm writing here Arvas, and the salary is like 2 lakh, 2 lakh or 20 lakh. I don't know what it is. az@gmail.com. Okay, save it. So another model is created. Total, we have created two models. Okay, two tables data we have created. Now let's see. Let's select the data from the table. Select star from test app underscore employee. Okay, so first is what? First entry is this, second entry is this. Okay, so I hope you understood this database, like how we create the model, how we store the model, how we can convert model into SQL, and how we can use external database. how we can use external database. I hope you got the idea. Okay, so if you have any doubt, any issue or any problem you are facing while creating this connection, okay, you can write comment. Okay, and if you have created this connection successfully, so you can type comment like you can say completed, database connection completed, yeah, successfully established, like that, so that I can understand whether how many of you have done with this connection. Okay, in the next video we will learn more about the database and database operation. Current operation we will learn create, delete, update, like this operation we also perform on database. Okay, so that's all for today. So thank you everyone for watching this video.